In this video, I'm going to be explaining the method that we use to multiply two polynomials together. And this is called the FOIL method. So the FOIL method is something that we use. It's just a procedure that makes it very simple to multiply two binomials together. So let's go into some examples and I'll show you how it works. So let's say I have 3x minus 6, and I want to multiply that with 5x plus 1. So FOIL is an acronym, and the F in FOIL stands for the word first. And the word first refers to the product of the first two numbers in each binomial. So the first two numbers here are the 3x and the 5x. So we're going to multiply those two together first. So 3x times 5x gives me a 15x squared. And then we move on to the O in the FOIL acronym, which stands for outside. And this refers to the product of the two outside numbers in each binomial. So the two outermost numbers here are the 3x and the 1. So then we multiply these together. So 3x times 1 gives me just 3x. Then we move on to the I in the acronym, and that stands for inside. And inside refers to the product of the two inner numbers in each binomial. So if 3x and 1 are the outside numbers, then the minus 6 and 5x are the inside numbers. So we multiply those two together. So minus 6 times 5x gives me a minus 30x. And then the L in FOIL stands for last. And that refers to the product of the last two numbers in each binomial pair. So if 3x and 5x are the first two numbers, then the minus 6 and the 1 are going to be the last numbers. So we multiply those together. And this usually gives you your constant term. So we have a minus 6 times 1, which just gives me a minus 6. And now the FOIL part is done, and it's just a matter of combining like terms at this point. So the 15x stays because there's no other x squared term to combine it with. And now after the x terms, I have a 3x and a minus 30x, so you can combine those to get minus 27x. And then of course the minus 6 just remains because there's no other constant term to combine. And then what you're left with is going to be your answer. So all the FOIL method is just a convenient way to multiply two binomials together. Let's say that we had x plus 2 times x squared minus 2. So the first thing that we do is we multiply the first two numbers in each binomial pair together. And that's going to be the x and the x squared. So x times x squared gives me an x cubed. Then the next product are the two outermost numbers. And that's going to be your x times the minus 2. And that gives me a minus 2x. The next product is the two innermost numbers. And that's going to be your 2 and your x squared. So 2 times x squared just gives me a 2x squared. And then the last product is the 2 times the negative 2, which gives me a negative 4. And then we combine our like terms. So since all of the terms in this polynomial are unique, we don't have any combining to do. However, I do want to rearrange this in standard form. So my final answer is going to be x cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x minus 4. Let's say that I had 2x minus 3 squared. So essentially what you're saying here is that I'm multiplying 2x minus 3 by itself. So you can write that as 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. And then you can perform the FOIL method from here. So the first product is going to be the 2x times the 2x, which gives me a 4x squared. And then the outer product is going to be a 2x times a minus 3, which gives me a minus 6x. And then I have my inner product, which is going to be another minus 3 times 2x, which gives me another minus 6x. And then the last product is going to be the minus 3 times a minus 3, which gives me a plus 9. Now the next step is to combine like terms. The 4x squared stays the same because there's no other x squared terms. And the two minus 6's, the two minus 6x's can combine together to give me a minus 12x. And the plus 9 just stays the same because there's no other constant term. And so this is my final answer. If you want to, you can factor, well, you really can't. So let's say that I had 6x plus 5 times 6x minus 5. So notice that these two have the same numbers. These two binomials have the same numbers in them. However, the signs change. So that means that they're conjugates. And whenever you multiply conjugates together, you're going to end up with something in this form, which is also called a difference of two squares. So the first product that I'm going to do is the 6x times the 6x, which gives me a 36x squared. And then the outer product is going to be 6x times a negative 5, which gives me a minus 30x. And then the inner product is going to be a 5x times a 6x, or a 5 times a 6x, which gives me a plus 30x. And my last product is going to be 5 times negative 5, which gives me a minus 25. And then we combine the like terms. So the 36x squared stays the same, but notice what happens with the minus 30x and a plus 30x. If you combine these together, you just get 0. So they effectively cancel each other. And then you're just left with the minus 25. So you can see how when you multiply conjugates together, you get something in this form. Because I can rewrite this as 6x squared minus 5 squared, meaning that a is equal to 6x and b is equal to 5. Let's say that I had 3 times the square root of 5 minus 2x times 3 times the square root of 5 plus 2x. So again, I shouldn't have put the 0 there. So again, we have a pair of conjugates where a is equal 3 times the square root of 5 and b is equal to 2x. So we know when we multiply these out, we're going to get something in the form of a squared minus b squared. So if you know this fact, you can just do this directly and say that this is equal to 3 times the square root of 5 squared minus 2x squared. And if you want to carry out the exponential operation, it's going to give you 9 times 5 because we distribute the exponent to both terms, minus 4x squared. So this is equal to 45 minus 4x squared. And if you want to put this in standard form, you just move the x squared out in front. So you get minus 4x squared plus 45. Okay, this will be the last one. So let's say I had x minus 4 cubed. So this is a little bit different because what I'm saying is I'm doing x minus 4 times x minus 4 times x minus 4. So for the first two, you can perform the FOIL method, and then it's going to be a little bit different whenever the FOIL method is complete. So just focusing on the first two terms, I have my first product as x times x, which gives me an x squared. My outer product is x times minus 4, which gives me a minus 4x. The inner product is minus 4 times x, which gives me another minus 4x. And then my last product is going to be negative 4 times negative 4, which gives me a positive 16. And I still have to multiply the last x minus 4 to it. So when I combine like terms in the first group of parentheses, I have an x squared, and the minus 4x and the minus 4x combine together to give me a minus 8x. And the plus 16 stays the same. So what we're going to do now is the same kind of thing with the FOIL method, but instead we're going to distribute both of the terms across the 3 in the first group of parentheses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the x by each of the terms first. So x squared times an x gives me x cubed. Then x times minus 8x gives me a minus 8x squared. And then 16 times x just gives me plus 16x. And then after that's done, I'm going to multiply the minus 4 by each of the 3 terms also. So minus 4 times x squared gives me a minus 4x squared. Then a minus 4 times a minus 8x gives me a plus 32x. And then a minus 4 times 16 gives me a minus 64. And now it's just a matter of combining the like terms. So I don't have any other x cubes, so it stays the same. And as for the x squareds, I have a minus 8x squared and a minus 4x squared, so that combines to give me a minus 12x squared. And then for the x terms, I have a 16x plus a 32x, and that combines to give me a positive 48x. And then the last term that I have is the minus 64. So that's the process to multiply a cubed polynomial. So I hope this video was helpful in how we multiply 2 binomials together, and then I did one example with 3 binomials. So the way that we multiply the 2 binomials together is by using the FOIL method, and then you have to do an extra step for the cubed binomials. But it's really just a way of using the distributive property whenever you have multiple terms multiplying by each other. So I hope this video was helpful and clear, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you for the next video.